Yeah, we've been doing this podcast for over a year now. We keep talking about
No,
how
no, no,
we're
no. It's a new podcast.
Yes, new podcast. Sorry,
But
we keep talking about how we're just a couple of regular Joes, but you're Josh and I'm Andrew.
yeah, no Joes.
No Joes. We should get a Joe on here one
We
of these days.
should get a Joe.
Here I am.
There we go.
Joe!
Yes.
Hi everyone, Andrew here. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties with our first guest. The audio and the video were kind of out of sync from each other, and it wasn't a consistent, just a half second that I can adjust. It has to do with our Wi-Fi connection, the way our cameras work. But anyway, it's not something we could foresee, and obviously we can't just re-record the episode. We want to make sure we're getting this raw, authentic take in this interview with Joe. So, for all of you who are on YouTube, you are unfortunately going to have to deal with the lack of video and just enjoy a nice image to go over the audio. But I promise you, it is still worth listening to. It's a great episode. Joe's such an awesome guy, and we really want to make sure that people get to hear his story and go deep with him. So, without any further ado, here is our second episode of Into the Deep, Regular Joes.
We're live.
All right. Hi everyone. Welcome
These
back
chairs are
to
very
the
comfy.
Yes, not the
Yes.
usual lawn chairs that we're running with.
Right.
These are lazy boys officially.
Oh,
Oh.
that makes sense.
No.
Monroe's finest.
The world's finest, yeah.
Monroe's finest and the world's finest.
Yeah,
You're right.
Made right here in Monroe, Michigan.
Or at least headquartered here.
Edward, yeah, right. Remember the time when I was trying to get you to take a job in Lazy Boy?
Yeah, and they never responded to any of my resumes.
I have a funny thing to say about that.
Right.
Oh.
Well,
My dad works at Lazy Boy.
of course he does. Of course he does.
Well, now that we've had some good laughs and broken the ice, welcome back to episode 2
Into the Deep.
Into the Deep, and we have today with us a special guest.
Our very first guest. So we dressed up for the occasion wearing our
Absolutely.
fanciest tuxedo tank tops. But this is
the finest.
Mr. Joe Boggs.
I really love the name of the podcast.
Into the Deep. Yeah.
There's not another one that's named Into the Deep.
If there is, we haven't found it.
It didn't show up in any Google SEO, so.
Actually, I've been thinking about like that phrase for a little bit.
I mean, do we want to kind of just like tell them like where it comes from and like our
Where does it come
We'll
from?
give him the 2-minute rundown.
Yeah.
So long and short of it, like Andrew and I's relationship is based around our men's fraternity that we had in college called Fishers of Men.
Okay.
Got the
And
symbol
yeah,
right there.
and kind of the kind of catchphrase that was used a lot, it's from Latin Duke and Alton, cast out into the deep.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both have been talking for many years about just trying to live more intentional lives of depth rather than just like lives of just like living in the ordinary.
Very regular, ordinary guys, but we are called to live extraordinary lives through Christ. So how do we make the ordinary extraordinary?
I'm often told that I'm too deep, so I like it.
See, you're right at home. This is where you're supposed to be.
So I have friends who tell me all the time, Joe, the reason why I'm your friend is because you like to go deep.
Yeah.
You like to have deep conversations. I don't like to stay at the surface.
Staying on the surface is like good for like when you're first meeting people.
It's safe.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's like you've at some point like you're called into that depth of relationship and that depth of conversation that can only be had when like you're open to it. And so so that's kind of the whole premise of the podcast. So like even like our first episode last time, I don't even remember what it was about.
How we got canceled.
How we almost got canceled because we talked about like dealing with like the idea of like public scandal, public sin, like when we live in a culture that promotes public sin, like
how do we as Catholics respond to that in a way that is charitable but also not denying the truth?
Not just saying on the surface level of we use the example of like Pride Month. Not just being like, we hate homosexual acts or whatever, or they're simple, but also like there's a real person behind that. Like how do we walk in the midst of that?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot, considering Pride Month and things of that nature. Thinking about like drag queen bingo events and drag queen events.
Yeah.
It's you feel you want to speak out about the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is that how can we allow these events to happen if we don't allow blackface to happen?
He's just going right for the fences right off the bat. I love
We're
it.
canceled. Episode 2.
I know. But honestly, it's the moral equivalent is blackface.
No,
women should be offended.
You're not wrong, but also there's just the matter of just like, okay, like Andrew and I both expressed that we have friends who are in that community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So this is where I want to go now.
Who may or may not be actively living out that lifestyle, but may experience same-sex attraction.
Exactly.
And like, but then we have other friends who are like actively pursuing that lifestyle. How do we love them charitably without,
condoning and
and it's such a hard thing because it does require two things. Number one, that you're in relationship with them, and number two, that you love them enough, like in the midst of that relationship after you've built it, to be able to have fraternal correction.
Yeah, and thinking about these individuals who are engaging in drag queen, bingo, and things of that nature, they're probably dealing with some very serious things behind the scenes that you can't see. Obviously, it's covered up by the makeup, but like there are some serious things that are going on in their lives that none of us know anything about, and they're human beings made for love.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of the most challenging things that I've ever had to kind of I think about it, right?
Yeah,
because it's in our faces. It's part of June.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's so much of an issue y'all have here in small town Monroe. Maybe more so than I think. But
there was what was it down at the theater? The drag queen beauty pageant.
Yeah, I'd heard about that after the fact. But there's been other places that have hosted like drag queen bingo.
Yeah, because I'm living in Lansing, so like
it's almost Ann Arbor.
I mean, it's. I wouldn't say it's like in my face all the time, but like I hear enough about those sort of things.
You're on a big college campus town.
Yeah, so
it's bound to be part of it.
And it's kind of like one of those situations where it's like, okay, like I even remember like doing outreach on campus and having students come up to me sometimes in full drag or presenting themselves with a different gender than what they actually were. And just like, okay, right? Like I have no relationship with you, so I'm not going to come down and just like beat you over the head with the theology stick. I'm just going to be like, oh, like, like.
Yeah, and another good example is that there's a God Works dinner here on Fridays. We serve the homeless and the population that is looking for food on Friday nights here at St. Mary's. And every once in a while, there's an individual who happens to be homeless, who happens to be a biological male, who identifies as a female, and is obviously having mental health issues as well. And this is not a time to give him, the theology of the body. It's a time to love him as he is.
Yeah.
As a human being coming to us with a need, and he needs someone to talk to.
Right. Like there's a paradigm in the church of like, oh, well, in order for you to belong in the community, you first have to behave like us and believe like us. But instead, like the paradigm which Christ offers, right, is like long before you ever believe in Jesus or behave like Jesus, you first belong with Jesus. And then over time, like that level of belonging turns into like, I believe that this person is who he says he is because I've encountered him, I'm with him. And then you're transformed over time, right? Like examples from the show The Chosen, I think give a great lesson of this, but also just like you start to read the Gospels and you see that. But
yeah, this process of surrender, transform, and renew.
Yeah.
That if you don't go through that process on almost a daily basis, you're not being a true disciple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I love how we just jumped right into it.
Yeah. But let's backtrack ever so slightly. Now that we just jumped right into it.
I know.
We want to talk about
like
Joe.
I said,
we brought you on because we want to. We both know. I know you a little better. Josh has met you a few times.
Yeah.
But, we want to get to know you just a little bit better, especially for the people who. The 5 people who watch us, who don't know you though, you're kind of a staple in the Monroe community. Your family really is, but you especially at the SMCC, the St. Mary's. So we want to get to know you just a little bit better. So why don't you, let's start off with something easy. Tell us about your life.
My life.
Who is Joe Boggs?
Well, and talking about I think to really understand me is to really understand my family. To start with, everyone knows the Madron family around here. My grandparents, Gerald and Ruth, are some of the most prolific grandparents around.
I think I saw something on social media. You had posted this, and I was like, oh my gosh.
They have over. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like 60 plus grandchildren. It's now I think 201 descendants.
That's incredible.
So their names were Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly it. And so it's been a blessing to be their grandchild. And then I'm the third of 11 of my parents, Tom and Barb. They've been married for 41 years, and I've been married for 12 years to my wife Bridget. We were high school sweethearts. We met here at the school in a kind of a strange fashion, because she wasn't actually a student here.
Oh.
You haven't heard this
story?
I
have not heard this story.
Wow. Well, you said that only 5 people watch this, so I'm gonna reveal something a little different, but she's okay with it, I think.
20% of our viewership is my mom, so you're fine.
So it was a sophomore dance. I think it was technically the Welcome Back dance.
Okay.
And that dance is only for SMCC students. Well, my wife, I didn't even know at that
some
time.
girl at the time.
Some girl at the time was actually from Ida.
Oh,
that makes sense. I'm starting to connect the dots now.
So she snuck into the dance.
Wow.
She snuck in the dance by hiding in the girls' locker room.
Stop. That's funny.
And we have a picture of it at home. Because my cousin Joni was the one who introduced us.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So then your whole time throughout high school, you were here and she was in
Ida. Yes.
Wow. This is making so much more sense about what I know about Bridget. She's from Ida.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is when you're from such a big family, you got to go into the margins.
So that's kind of the whole thing. Is we kind of joke sometimes that like my parents grew up a town over, but like we think that like maybe they share a fourth cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I mean,
once you get to fourth or fifth cousins,
it's fine, but it's just like, no, I get what you mean. Like, I grew up in a town of 4,000 people, so like,
correct.
Yeah.
And on the other side of my family, the Boggses, so kind of a strange dynamic. My grandma, I believe, was actually born in France.
Oh. Wow.
So my great grandfather, from what I understand, was born in Belgium, fled Belgium during World War I.
Okay. Wow.
Came here. There was actually a Belgian priest here at St. Mary's who sponsored a lot of Belgians who came during that time period. His name is Father Jose, and he encouraged him to consider the seminary. So actually, in my office now, I have the 1937 class of the seminary, Sacred Heart.
You can see your
Joseph
great
Hill,
grandfather,
my namesake. Thankfully, World War II happened. Thankfully, World War II happened in a sense because he went over as an interpreter, served in the European theater, and met my great grandmother, a French bride.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So kind of crazy stuff. So it's kind of a divine appointment, I guess, in that sense that I'm here.
Yeah. No, it's clearly just a coincidence. There's no plan or anything like that. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah. So so that's kind of my family background. So we have roots that are pretty deep here. You can't avoid my family.
No, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a box.
Yeah, or a Majman or anyone that's related to me. And then, in regards to my relationship with my wife, obviously we started in high school. It actually took a long time for her, despite her risk-taking to get into the school. It took her a while to say yes to me in regards to dating me. Because
you're such a risk.
Well, I am a risk. Definitely back then. There's no doubt about that because I've definitely grown in humility over the years. Right. I was very boastful.
I too am incredibly humble.
So back then, like I've always been into sports, and I was a pretty good athlete. So like I would start conversations like, "Hey Bridget, did you know that I made this many points at this game and that kind of thing?" And she was like, I don't know.
That's a bold strategy.
I know. It is a very bold strategy. I think it's because I was dumb, too. Not very guy.
You were a high
not
school
very intelligent.
You were a high school kid.
I was trying to impress her, obviously, and so it took her a while for her.
We never got over that phase, I think, as boys, of like girls liking the fastest kid on the playground.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you all had that same
experience. Yep. Fifth grade, I was riding high, and then after that, new kids came in.
We get to high school, and we're like, they don't like the fastest kid.
No, they don't.
Dang it!
Yes. Yeah, you just can't run. So I found that out pretty fast, and then I had to become more humble. And then we started dating, And then actually, 6 months into our relationship, this is kind of going in a different way. She actually acquired leukemia. Yep. So that really shaped our relationship and our and that made me mature very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And I remember her saying when she was diagnosed, it's like, Joe, you don't have to. You can just go.
You can leave. Yeah.
You can leave because we were just 6 months into a relationship. I was like, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that guy.
I may be an idiot, but I know enough to not like.
Yeah.
That's not going to be.
That's not good. That's not me. So.
And so this was while you were still in high school.
Still in high school here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredibly mature for a high school kid.
Yeah.
That's incredibly mature for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but honestly I wasn't very mature. So I think that must have been the Holy Spirit. I can't justify that. It must have been prayers from my family members. My grandparents are constantly praying, so they may have been praying for me in that moment. I don't know. But I made the decision, and it's the best decision I ever made in my life, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
it obviously ended up.
It worked. Yeah, we're married 12 years now.
Yeah.
So so she had a lot of health issues in high school. She actually had to take classes from home at IDA her senior year. She lost her hair. She actually lost a lot of her friends, which is kind of a sad thing because she had a friend group that wasn't there for the right reasons.
No.
And so it became kind of a hard time there. And so high school, we graduated, still dating, and then actually in college, because of the intense amount of steroids she was on, she developed a bone disease called osteonecrosis.
Oh, okay.
So she's had both her knees, hip, and shoulder replaced before we got married, and we were 23, 24.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So she had all that done. So she's the bionic woman. She's incredible.
Don't mess with her.
You do not want to mess with her. She's an incredible woman, but she kicked your butt on the pickleball court.
I've heard.
Yeah, she is quite the accomplished pickleball player.
You had a broken wrist, and she made you play.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I'd been gone for a week for the service trip in Kentucky. My wrist was not feeling very well, but I know Bridget wanted to play, so I was like, let's try it out. And I was like, oh, I cannot play. I had to get physical therapy on my wrist. It wasn't broken. It was like a
sprain.
It was a pretty bad sprain.
So So how has your faith worked throughout all of the? I mean, it's
so we're and again, this is you're in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
What at that point? What's
honestly, what's weird about this whole situation is I would describe myself up into my mid-20s as a checklist Catholic.
Okay.
Like a checklist Catholic, meaning
I go to mass every Sunday. Check. I go to confession
once or twice a year.
Like 3 or 4 times a year. Check.
Yeah. Got Christmas
check
and Easter.
List. Yeah. I heard check less.
No. Checklist Catholic. Like doing all the things that Catholic like.
You're doing it because I'm supposed to do this.
Catholics, good Catholics do, right? Yeah. Good Catholics do. But in regards to like having a deep relationship with God, a deeper meaning to my life in regards to being a disciple of Jesus, of being someone who knew my faith in and out, I was not that person. I was not that person at all. In fact, I was in it for myself. In college, at first I went for physical therapy because my parents had always advocated going to the medical field because there was always going to be jobs in the medical field. And actually, almost all my siblings are in the medical field. Like doctors and
your brother's my doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started that off, like started my freshman year thinking about that and probably going into that. But then I switched at the last minute because I had a conversation with a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, Joe, you love history. Like, you'd be a great history teacher.
Yeah.
So that's what I pursued.
Yeah, and anyone who's met you can know that. Like, even just in our first conversation, you knew your genealogy, where my grandparent came from here. This is where this happened. This, like, you just knew your own family history, like, just off the back of your hand.
Well, yeah, it's something that I like and I enjoy, and it gives me I don't know, peace, I guess. But so I pursued history. I got a degree in history at UT. I was here's my
University of Toledo or
University of Toledo. Okay. Yeah. Here's my home.
I hear UT and I think University of Texas because I'm from Texas.
Oh, so. Okay. Yeah, University of Toledo.
Some of us prefer the Midwest.
Yeah.
I'm big Texas A&M fan. Andrew got me a whiskey decanter this last Christmas with the Texas A&M,
The
Kyle Field.
Actually, we took a spring break recently in Austin. Me and Bridget, and we stayed at the hotel on University of Texas campus.
Yeah. It's beautiful campus.
It's not bad.
It's a beautiful campus, but I'm so sorry you had to go there.
Yeah. I was impressed. I was impressed though, because we were at spring break, and obviously school was out there.
Yeah.
But we happened to hear there was confessions going on.
Is it the UCC is what they call it? The University Catholic Center?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, let's go to confession. The line was insane. It was like 30 deep.
A lot of sinners in Austin.
A lot of sinners.
And spring break when kids are out there.
I mean, the phenomenon, because like I'm from kind of that area. The phenomenon going on in the Diocese of Austin with regard to like campus ministry, because that's also where you have Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
Dude, I've heard obviously Texas A&M is
Texas. You've got two competing like schools, right? Who are just fighting for souls on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah, no, that's not surprising to me at all that the line was out the door.
Yeah.
Also because it was in Austin.
Yeah, a lot of cities. A lot of cities in Austin.
But yeah, University of Toledo, UT, I got a history degree, and here's my humble side coming out. I was the top graduate of my class.
Congratulations.
All three of them?
Well, yeah, so we had a competition in my family. I have a lot of brainiacs in my family, and I was like, between my sister Amanda and I was like, I'm going to beat you in GPA in regards to college. So I'm going to get the highest GPA, and whoever gets the highest GPA between us two,
buys the other car.
No, we'll rub the other person's feet and have it on video.
They have much lower stakes than we do.
So I ended up getting a 3.999 whatever. She ended up getting a 4.0 straight.
Wow.
So I had to rub her feet. But,
yeah.
So I went
She's got it on video.
Yeah.
So it's a moralized.
I don't know where. I think hopefully that video is destroyed. But anyhow, I graduated from University of Toledo and went right into a PhD program at Michigan State for history.
Go green.
Wow. Okay.
Actually not. No. So the first day I was there, I made the kids get up, put their hand on their heart, and sing "Hail to the Victors." Because I've always been a Michigan guy. I wanted to go to the University of Michigan, but I didn't get it.
So you have an undergraduate degree from the University of Toledo in history, and then you have a master's degree from where?
So I have two master's degrees.
Okay.
One master's degree in education from the University of Toledo. So actually went back after the PhD.
Gotcha.
So the PhD program.
Let the man talk.
Yeah.
No, I'm just sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have two masters, one in history, one in education. But in regards to the PhD program, I went there. I was actually only there for a semester.
Okay.
I found out really quickly that a lot of PhD candidates in history were actually having to settle for part-time community college jobs. That's one of the things that they don't talk to you about in regards to PhD programs for like
So
arts.
was the PhD program, was it like you didn't need to have a master's degree?
Yeah, it was. Well,
okay.
Within that program, you get your master's.
You would earn your okay,
but it was a PhD.
Yeah, I was
program.
trying to understand the program. Okay.
Yeah, it was a doctoral.
I've heard about a couple of those.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of combined.
Yeah.
But I was only there for a semester, and I started realizing these people who were graduating from Michigan State, which is a Big Ten school.
Yeah.
They weren't
up here. That carries a lot of weight. Yeah.
They weren't getting good jobs, and honestly, I got depressed. I got pretty depressed and had some serious thoughts about myself, and I decided to drop out. Yeah. But I remember right before it was my 22nd birthday. I was honestly in a PhD program right before my 22nd birthday, and just going to the St. John's on campus.
Yeah.
At Michigan State, and going before the Eucharistic Lord, and just like. And honestly, I had never prayed like that before. Never prayed, and just like, God, I just surrender. I just don't know what to do. I'm dropping out.
God loves
I feel like
it when we come to Him at our lowest point. We have no idea what to do. He's like, finally, you're coming. Let me take care of you. You got nothing to work with. I will give you everything. Just listen to me.
Yeah.
You're at St. John's.
Yeah.
Off
the campus there, and I just surrendered, and I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I want to just do better. I don't know what that is, but I want to do better because I was in such a dark place. And so I took a semester off. I came and actually did some substitute teaching, kind of figured out actually I do like teaching. And actually, that was the part at Michigan State that I did enjoy because I was teaching classes.
I was going to say, were you teaching back here, or did you go? Where were you teaching at the time? Like doing substitute teaching?
In Monroe County.
Okay.
Yeah, Monroe County. So I live in Newport, but I taught at Michigan State the survey level history class, and I thought that was awesome. Yeah. I loved doing that. So I came back and subbed, and and the thing is coming from my family, it's expected that you have a big family, right? And I always was under the preconception of I can't be a teacher because then I can't have a big family. So I need to have like a bigger, better paying job.
Yeah, gotta get into that medical field.
Yes, correct. So that's why I considered the professor route because obviously they usually make more money.
They can.
Yeah, they can. But actually, I found out that's not actually usually.
They can. Most of our professors at Franciscan were like, unless you were on the speaker circuit, like a lot of our professors were scraping the barrel.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they, some of our.
If you weren't Scott Hahn, you were living in an apartment.
Correct. Yes.
Well, but for some of them, they were like, I do this, but I have multiple businesses that pay for my other things.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Or they're writing books or whatever. That's where professors make their money.
Yeah. So, and so that was my kind of preconception. But then I started looking into it. I was like, I can make a decent wage. It might be tough when we have kids, but like, we'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So, I came back. We actually got married in that time span, believe it or not. And went into the master's program at University of Toledo. It was actually a accelerated program.
Okay.
So like a year-long
program.
And you got both an education master and a history master. So
no. So I got my teaching license.
Gotcha.
And my master's degree in education.
Okay.
And everyone was telling me, Joe, like, I don't know how you're gonna get a job with a master. People don't want to hire you with a master because they have to pay you more.
Yep.
Right.
That's kind of what a lot of people were telling me.
Yeah. So I was nervous when I graduated with my master's degree, but sure enough, my professors were vouching for me, and I got a really good job at a public vocational school in Perrysburg, Ohio.
Okay.
1,600 kids.
Yeah.
Well paying. Like, I was set. I was set for life. Like, financially speaking,
you would have been fine.
I would have been making six figures easily by the time I would have been making. I don't want to talk about that, but
he doesn't want to talk. Like, if I keep thinking about the way I'm going to get sad.
Like vocational schools, because they tend to be for-profit institutions. They can't pay their teachers more.
Yeah, well, they're public school. It's a public school.
Oh, it's public.
It's a public school.
Okay,
but they're one of the highest paying schools in the area.
Gotcha.
And based on my salary schedule, based on the fact that I had a master's, I was going to be making pretty good money.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what happened in that time span. Oh, I know what happened. Cause the whole St. John's incident, up in MSU happens, but like honestly, it kind of faded away again. I was still a checklist Catholic, but I didn't really have a deep relationship with God. Didn't know my faith, that kind of thing. And I just was a teacher. I was a really darn good teacher. I was awarded by the Henry Ford Museum as one of the top innovative teachers in the country. So they did a week-long seminar in 2017 where they gave us an award ceremony and that kind of thing. They wine and dine us. They paid for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for a week with all these other teachers from around the country who were just incredible.
Rock stars, yeah.
Rock stars. But one thing I started to realize as I was hanging out with them is they were all selfish.
Mm.
They were all selfish. And we're teachers. Like, how does that equate?
Yeah, I've never thought of a teacher that way. Like, teachers always people like, this is the person who is giving up money to teach and their sanity to teach.
Well, maybe selfish is not the best way to say it. Kind of selfish, but prideful.
Oh,
okay. That might be a better way to phrase it.
Yeah. There was some selfishness that I saw there, but also prideful as well.
Like they're like, I'm one of the top teachers in the nation, right?
Yep.
Like
I'm that guy.
I should be respected like such.
Yes. And I started to contemplate my own life and whether I was becoming more and more prideful. And I came to the conclusion I was. And it's honestly something I've struggled with even now, but it made me really reflect. And I remember for some reason it pushed me it pushed me to go to confession at St. Joe's Erie. I was out in front of the church walking into confession, and just a mess. And I run into a guy that has his own, this would be a good guy to have on this podcast, name is Ben Liedel, had his own kind of journey, really intense journey. But he was truly a disciple of Jesus at that time and had come back to the faith. And he just said, Joe, what have you been up to? And like, it was like a question.
So you knew him prior to this?
Yeah, he's actually my god brother, technically. His dad is my godfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we played basketball together, sports here. Okay. He's a graduate here as well. He asked me like with like sincerity, but also with like kind of a conviction. And I just started bawling, started crying. I was like, nothing good. Yep. And so then I go to confession and come back out and talk to him, and he's like, Joe, like I want you to kind of be with me on some of these evangelization groups that I'm starting to start at this parish of St. Joe's Erie. And that wasn't even my home parish. But I lived in that direction because I live south of town here. So I joined him and got more involved in my faith. Did like Alpha, if you guys know.
Yeah, Alpha very familiar with Alpha.
Yeah, so did Alpha for the first time. That really think about my relationship with God in a new way. And from there, I just got more and more involved in the church locally, different evangelization teams. And then I became the head of evangelization for the Vicariate in Monroe County here. And then I got involved with youth ministry because I felt like there was a hole there.
We're working on that.
Kind of still is a hole. And I just got more and more involved. And I'm still teaching at my public school job. I'm still getting paid really well and that kind of thing. But then, as I'm developing a deeper relationship with God and more convicted about my faith, I find that when I'm teaching history, I'm teaching about more.
This is what the truth is.
This is what the truth is.
Not with the propaganda that's being proposed by either side.
But here's a good example. I would like to hear how many high school history American teachers teach about Roe versus Wade.
Oh, they don't.
I can tell you with great certainty at my high school, I went to the park, Plymouth Canton Education Park, 6,000 students on campus.
Probably avoided
zero.
It altogether.
There was one debate on campus that they were hosting that was related to abortion and anything related to that.
I think the reason why we never touched on it when I got to high school is I took AP U.S. History. They didn't test on it on
teaching test, Sarah.
Yeah. They didn't talk about it on the test. Like U.S. history stopped being discussed on the AP U.S. history test shortly after the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah. So think about this, but also think about what Roe versus Wade did to our country.
Oh, 100%.
It's probably, I think, if you were to look at it fairly, it's a top 5 moment in 20th century American history.
Yeah, that.
Great Depression.
Yep.
World War II.
Yep.
Vietnam, maybe.
But you could really argue that is what shaped the culture the most. And I think in the past 30 years, that moment has kind of shaped what our culture is acting like. Yeah. I'm saying the most recent 30 though. I feel like our culture has had such this massive shift.
It allowed toxic feminism to really take.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
in reality, I'm not. I think you could argue I'm a kind of a feminist, but I'm a strange guy.
Joe Boggs, the feminist. That's the title.
I'm a huge
Joe Boggs, the feminist.
I'm a huge fan of Abigail Favale. Now you know her, Notre Dame. She's amazing professor, amazing author.
Yeah.
But, anyhow, so I begin to teach about important things that I feel like this needs to be talked about in this class. And sure enough, the kids loved it. But
because you were talking about the real issues that they probably had questions about.
Yes. Yeah. But other teachers didn't care. They started hearing what I was teaching, and they're like Joe, this is not part of our curriculum. I was like, but what's important?
Yeah. What is the point of education? And we can talk about this, for 2 hours. But at the end of the day, the point of education is to prepare the kids for the real world.
And it's not like I was indoctrinating them. I was giving them the steel man version on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
steel man both sides. Like, here's the best argument from the pro-life standpoint.
Yeah,
here's the best argument from
and let them draw their own conclusions.
Yes. Yeah.
Self-critical thinking, which is something that's sorely lacking.
Yeah, and sure enough, they can do some digging on Facebook. They can start digging in some of the things that I do around here in Monroe County, because I was in Perrysburg at the time, teaching in Perrysburg. They could start doing some digging on me
and see that you're a pro-life advocate or whatever it is, that you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm not gonna go out and start indoctrinating them in my I don't consider it indoctrination, because it's true. It's the truth.
Presenting
but
truth.
Evangelizing them in that kind of way.
Yeah,
it's the truth. So, but I wasn't doing that, and And then I had another situation. I had a student ask me one time, Mr. Boggs, who is your favorite person in all of history? And I was like, okay, so you're talking about American history, right? He's like, no, because I was teaching American history. I was like, world history. I was like, you're going all the way back. I was like, you're going all the way back in time? He's like, yeah. I was like, Jesus is the best dude out. Yeah. He is fully human. Yeah. And fully divine as well. But and the student was like, Mr. Boggs, that was a kind of cool answer. I don't know.
How many teachers have the ball?
Nobody's going to talk about Jesus in a public school setting.
Yeah. But he asked me. Yeah. Was it a legitimate question? I gave him a legitimate answer.
And I think kids appreciate that kind of candidness of if you ask me a legitimate question, I will give you an answer if you want to actually hear.
Mm-hmm. So and that got my wheels spinning, and then this opportunity came open here at SMCC, and I was like, I think it's time. Yeah. I think it's time to go.
Come back home a little bit.
And what I'm reminded of, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. I bring this up all the time, so you've heard this before, because I've had conversations with you. It's the Mr. Rogers movie. Tom Hanks.
I've not.
I forget what that movie's called.
It's a Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood.
Something like that. Yeah. But the premise of the movie is not necessarily about Mr. Rogers. It kind of is, but it's about this journalist who's trying to figure out who the real Mr. Rogers is.
Yeah. Because he can't believe someone that nice exists in the modern day.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not Mr. Rogers, but the movie, the journalist figures out that Mr. Rogers is Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, he's 100% who he is.
And I felt like I was not Mr. Boggs at the place I was teaching previously. But now, because I'm in a Catholic school that truly believes in the idea of being a disciple of Jesus is the most important thing you can be in your life.
Amen. Yeah.
I can be Mr. Boggs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And just from my interactions with the students, because you know how much they love me being around. But I hear them talk about you, and there is a sense of, and not to inflate your ego, but there's a sense of awe. They're like, Mr. Boggs really cares, and he seems to really be who he is. Because I think at first the kids were a little caught off guard by how genuine you were. You didn't ease into the school at all. You jumped in, and a lot of the kids were they were talking Mr. Boggs is really different, but it's kind of cool.
It's kind of extra.
I'm extra, yeah.
But it's not brought that authenticity that I think a lot of the kids were they're wow, someone who's really living out his faith and showing it that it's important, not just to him, but he thinks it's important for me to understand that too. Yeah. And I think that's something that the kids were, to some extent, were missing, or they were shocked by, because you just came right out of the gates like it.
Like I said, I go right into the deep real quick.
No, but that is awesome, because you're listening to the story and you're just you are able to look back now, and maybe you don't realize it in the moment, but how introspective you were able to be on yourself throughout your whole lifespan, just or at least from the moment you were cognitive of those kind of things. That just goes a long way in being able to reflect on.
Well, right now I'm kind of putting together an apologetics course for our senior class, new class we're teaching here at SMCC this coming year, and I'll be teaching it. And so I'm putting together that curriculum, and I'm thinking about the unit on God's goodness, right? God's goodness. And why is there evil in the world? Why is there suffering? That kind of thing.
The only argument that Peter Kraft ever said would be enough to discount the Christian argument would be that evil exists in the world. That's the only good argument for the lack of God's existence.
But I think one of the best maybe arguments against it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Mm.
Wait. Be patient. Because if I were to kind of stop my life at certain points in my life, like, and not wait for God to kind of come through, it would have turned out way differently, right?
Yeah.
So you got to wait on God. God is good.
God's time is perfect.
Yeah.
But we are impatient.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And I need to listen to my own advice.
No, we could all do better by just listening to ourselves.
Yeah.
So, okay, you mentioned something, and I've known this. So, like, how did you get involved with doing youth ministry then?
Mm-hmm.
Like in Monroe County, in Monroe.
Yeah. So, actually, Steubenville. So, Steubenville, because what happened was I was involved in these evangelization groups, and I was a younger guy.
Yeah.
Younger, like 20s.
Yeah. You're under 50.
Yeah.
About our age as we are now.
And Nancy Dietrich, who was running youth ministry at the time locally, had asked me, "Hey, like, I need some chaperones for this thing we're doing in Steubenville." Like, I had never heard. I didn't know what Steubenville was about. I kind of knew. I was like, I'll go.
Shall go all the way down to Ohio then?
Was that?
Go to the one in Ohio.
Ohio, yeah. Went to campus, and I saw what was going on there, and I could see that Nancy needed help. So I joined her, and then some things happened here in the Monroe parishes where Nancy was let go, and there was just a void. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna volunteer and do it. Like, all you have to do is reimburse me for my expenses, like in regards to like food and that kind of thing.
If I'm gonna buy $100 worth of food, can y'all just write me a check? Yeah.
So I did that for
Which
several years.
A lot of people for $100 worth of hot dogs.
Correct. Yeah, and pizza and like things like that. Yeah. So I did that, and I think it was a blessing, and it helped prepare me for this position that I'm in now.
Yeah.
It's funny how like all these little things that God was doing along the way.
The coincidences.
God like that word.
It's so. I love when people like such coincidences. Like, there's no such thing as coincidences. You wrote a whole blog post on it. There's no such thing as coincidences.
But like, he's been doing all these things up until this point. Here's another thing I didn't even talk about because it's not really that important. But I wrote a history book. I wrote a history book on prohibition locally.
Okay.
I'm a history nerd still.
Yeah.
So I wrote about prohibition and how the intersection, especially locally, the intersection of car culture and prohibition.
Yeah.
And the argument is that if car culture didn't exist at the same time prohibition existed, prohibition would have been successful.
Yeah.
If cars didn't exist in this region.
So
I wrote a book about that.
It's like NASCAR got invented by bootleggers.
So well, that's kind of after the fact, but it started here. It started here, and Detroit was notorious for being kind of the source
between our connection to Canada and the Motor City.
In Chicago got all its alcohol. This area. But anyhow, like, I wrote that book, and because I wrote that book, I had to go and publicly speak about that book. So therefore, I had always been really nervous about public speaking skills. And to be honest, like, sometimes I still get nervous. Everyone gets nervous. But like, it helped me kind of break that issue that I had in the past. So I told my students, I did a public speaking project, and kids are about ready to kill me.
It is so funny forcing kids to present, and they freeze completely. Like, guys, you're gonna have to do this for literally the rest of your life. You better learn now, especially when it doesn't matter. Especially
like, public speaking can be the difference between you getting a job promotion.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, that could prevent you from maybe even trying for that job because there's gonna be public speaking involved. Right?
Yeah.
So like, this is a pretty important skill to possess. If you have it, you can have more opportunities open to you. But anyhow, I started doing that. But I told the students, when I was a senior here, when I had to do my first like public speaking on an English paper or whatever it was, I was shaking. I was deathly afraid. I was that person who was sweating in front of you. You could hear it in my voice. I was quivering.
Had the little warble.
Yes, yeah. I was that guy. So like, you're sophomores. Let's do this together. Let's work on this. That thing that I did help prepare me for this position, because I know I'm going to be speaking quite a bit in public, and I know I'm going to screw up every once in a while. But now that I'm so used to it, I'm be like, oh well, it's not a big deal.
Okay, one final question.
Yeah.
I think I,
We-
well,
we-
I have a couple questions.
We have a lot of questions, but we have to be cognizant of the time, respectful of your time.
I have a question about something that I know that you have done in the past. I know it's not happening this year, but it was something that I was so mad when I saw that it wasn't happening this year because I was like, I'm finally gonna go on it. It's gonna be great.
Correct.
But tell us about your
Rise from the
devotion.
Ashes.
Yeah, your devotion to Father Gabriel Richard and Rise from the
Yeah.
Ashes.
So I was the president of the Father Gabriel Richard Guild for about 4 or 5 years. And this is a guild that's trying to promote his cause for canonization. Father Gabriel Richard, if you guys don't know anything about him, he was an incredible priest that lived in this area. He was kind of like the Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
He was kind of involved in everything colonial around here. War of 1812, University of Michigan founder, the cholera epidemic that took his life. He was serving people during the cholera epidemic, giving confession to those who were dying, and he ended up getting it himself. So I have a devotion to him. I decided to kind of raise awareness about him by doing a walking pilgrimage, and it began during COVID. Our first year was actually when COVID was still in effect, and we walked all the way from St. Joe's Erie, which is farthest end of basically Michigan you get, to Detroit, St. Anne's Basilica, where he's buried. So that was 4 days of 50 some miles.
Wow.
We walked on foot. We stayed the night in churches here at St. Mary's and so forth. And I've been doing kind of variations of that route the last 5 years. This year, because of the transition, I have so much work I got to do. I'm hoping, people have been bugging me about it. Like, Joe, we're not doing this year. It's like, I just can't.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, if someone would step up, then we could. But
Here you go, Josh.
yeah, I know.
I live too far away. But you know what, buddy?
But I'm thinking about in the future, it's like next year, just doing the Sunday. Walk from Wyandotte to Detroit, which is about 10 miles in the morning to make it for the noon mass.
Yeah.
So just kind of making it smaller, more
accessible
to people, just where it's not as much as a commitment, and therefore it's not as much time for me. Because in this new position, I definitely need more time to work on things.
Well, right, but it's also like one of those things where just that idea of pilgrimage and going on a journey together. Yeah.
If you know of anyone that can help me out, we can continue it for 3 days. But
stop kicking me. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But
okay. Final question, because we're wrapping up here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we always talk about at the end of each podcast episode is how we're going deeper.
I prepped him on that.
Yeah,
You did.
Tell me about this. Yeah,
It's still fresh. It hurts.
So I mean, just a broad question of how do you go deeper in your daily life, and then maybe narrowing it down to right now, specifically in your life as it is right now. How do you find yourself going deeper?
Well, every single day, half-hour holy hour. It's not a holy hour, but it's a half hour.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to get in front of the Eucharistic Lord if you want Him to be with you and to bless what you do. I think it's a complete mistake if you're involved in any kind of ministry if you're not doing some kind of Eucharistic adoration on a daily basis. So that's what I do. I do a lot of reading of the scriptures. I especially read. I really sit with the Sunday Gospels and really think about what Jesus is telling us, what He's telling me, and I keep on coming back to it day after day after day throughout the week. And that way, when I go to Mass on Sunday, I'm really tuned in.
You spend so much time with it.
Yeah,
I love that.
So that's what I do. I don't always get a full rosary in, but I pray the rosary every day. That's something that I inherited from my grandparents. They're huge devotees to Our Lady of Fatima. So I try to pray the rosary every day. Pray with my wife every single day, especially before bed, and just talk about what are some of the things that we're struggling with. Some of the family members, we have a lot of family to pray for, so we actually say
your intentions are
we say their names, that kind of thing. That's another Mr. Rogers thing.
I'm sure that takes 30 minutes.
Well, names cycle on and off,
Yeah.
But it's been good, and I just I don't know which saint it was. Saint Teresa of Avila. I think she talked about how ultimately you get to a point where your life becomes prayer.
Yeah.
I know I'm not there yet. That's what I'm aiming for.
No, but that's
It's a good goal to have.
that idea of mystical union with Christ, where every action I do is in union with Him.
Correct. Yes. Is it the right saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a master's in Catholic studies.
Okay,
We kind of rely on him for those things.
And
I got the business major.
And that's one thing too. Like that's one thing I didn't. I'm also kind of in the seminary as well. I'm thinking about the diaconate. I'm in conversations whether to apply this December or next December. I'm at a point where I already got all my prereqs done through the seminary.
Yeah.
And so that'll be another master's I end up getting.
Yeah.
Kids can be collecting degrees.
It honestly.
You're not gonna ruin your
This
wall.
is the reason why I didn't get a job somewhere before. Because I actually downplayed the importance of degrees in a job interview with a guy who had a PhD.
Ooh.
Yeah. So to be honest, like obviously education. Obviously, I'm in a school.
Education is huge.
Education is huge, but in regards to like the status of degrees, who gives a flip? Like,
No, we had a whole episode talking about
Yeah.
education and what we see as the flaws in it.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's so much. Yeah, there's so much to say about that.
awesome. This was great.
Yeah. Well, we got. How are you been going deep?
Oh,
we got a few minutes. We got it for 4 more minutes. We're gonna use every minute of it.
Yeah, you should.
So since we do this every week, so I just moved, and so right now I'm in the midst of trying to simplify my possessions, and so I think I bagged up like 14 different bags worth of stuff going to Goodwill or to the local Savings to Paul. Some of it clothes, some of it books.
A lot of it books.
A lot of it books. A lot of it clothes. but like that idea of just like simplifying my life down to like what's the.
Does this actually spark joy?
No, but also just like. I don't know. We fill our lives with so much stuff.
Yeah.
And is the stuff needed?
So it reminds me of Guatemala. I was just in Guatemala like last month, and I didn't realize at the end of the trip, Tim encourages you to give away all your clothes. So
That you brought? So you got like 4 outfits, I heard.
Yeah, and I was like, these are outfits that I don't think I want to give up, and I didn't. I felt bad about that. Like, I don't want to give up these outfits, but like, because like Bridget bought these outfits for me, like
The sentimental value attached.
next year I have a ton of clothes at home that they're nice clothes. They're nice clothes. It's not like, but the clothes that I brought, like,
Those are new.
Correct.
You brought them for the purpose of going to Guatemala.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on giving them away.
Yeah.
I kind of felt bad about that. And I still feel bad about it to some extent. Like I'm not detached. I should be more detached than that.
Yeah.
But,
so spiritual detachment from physical objects is what I'm
exactly.
going through right now. So. What about you, Andrew? How are you going deeper?
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to base off of my joining a book club that I mentioned last time. We've been reading Orthodoxy by Chesterton.
Oh yeah, Chesterton.
The amount of work that man got done just because of spite is unparalleled. Which the reason I'm writing this book is because you made me write this. It didn't have to be written, but you made me write this.
Yeah, I read the introduction the other day.
It's really such a great book though, because the discussions that we've been having with the guys has just been, we've managed to take the simple we'll read a passage and it'll either be, oh yeah, that was a good quote, or we will go on a 20-minute discussion of that. It may or may not have to do with the discussions that we've been getting from it. I've gotten really close with the guys already. Again, I just joined the book club, but it's been really meaningful.
It's a local book?
Yeah, a bunch of the guys from St. Mary and St. John.
Mike Cochran.
Mike Cochran.
Yes,
yeah.
He's invited me. Like, it's always at a time that I can't do.
That's the thing. I've had to give up my gaming nights a little bit. I have to give up a
Oh,
couple hours of my
no.
gaming. I get 2 nights a week, Josh. I get 2 nights a week to hang out with my friends that don't live in this state.
Anyways,
But yeah, so that's been mine.
Huh. Yeah. Is it G.K. Chesterton who... There was an essay contest, and it was like, "What's wrong with the world?"
yeah,
And he's a very verbose guy.
It's a great essay. Oh my! If you haven't had a chance to read it, it's a great essay.
Am I thinking the right essay?
I don't know.
What's wrong with the world? Everything that is wrong with the world.
And what did he respond?
Oh, he wrote like a very long essay.
No, I think there's another one like this though, where he writes in, "I am." Period. G.K. Chesterton.
He did do that, but then he did that for the essay competition.
There was some kind of essay, yeah.
And then he wrote an actual book.
Okay.
Everything wrong with the world.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just
one of the most intelligent guys ever to live.
yeah, but that's been awesome.
So great.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for being our first guest into the deep and just our podcast in general.
Yeah. This has been great.
Yeah.
Sorry if I got too deep.
No.
Dude.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. You set the bar very high for whoever's
for Trent.
whoever our next guest ends up being.
Trent.
We're hoping to get Trent if we can, but
is he gonna be in town or?
He said he's gonna try to be in town sometime this summer.
If he's in town, great. If not, we can get him on.
We'll make it work, but.
Because Trent's a good dude.
He'd have a great story to share, especially his life as a missionary.
All right, we got 20 seconds, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Joe, where can people find you?
They can find me here at SMCC.
Yeah!
If you have kids, send them here.
Yes.
All right, and
we're out.
God bless you guys. Peace.
Have a good one.